call the regular meeting to order at 7 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. The pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll, please.
Trustee Pacoli?
Here.
Trustee Myson?
Here.
Trustee Bellinger?
Here.
Trustee Bonkowski?
Here.
Trustee Pridemore? Absent. Trustee Hasiak?
Here.
President Dilbert?
Here.
Attorney Addis?
Here.
Treasurer Rodzik?
Here.
Clerk Mitchell? Absent.
Approval of agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
The properly moved and supported that we approve the agenda as presented. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment on agenda. Item 4 will be taken under President's items A. Approval of minutes for the January 14th meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we approve the minutes of January 14th. Any questions on the motion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda.
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Support.
Been properly moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda. Question on the motion. Roll, please.
Trustee Myson?
Yes.
Trustee Bellinger?
Yes.
Trustee Bonkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hasiak?
Yes.
Trustee Pacoli?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes. Item 8, sewer rates. What's your pleasure?
I will make a motion that we reset the sewer rate to $6. It's currently at $4.26. We were audited by Plant Moran in 2013, and at that time they said we should be at $5.47. So we have a negative that we have to make up. So I'm proposing $6.
I don't know the proper, can we make a adjustment on that?
Whatever you wanna
Can we say that take effect after a few months or something to that effect?
Let's put a time frame on it.
Sure.
Specify.
Effective, let's see, June 1st? Did you say June 1st, 2020?
Support.
Been properly moved and supported that the new sewer rate effective June 1st, 2020 will be $6 per unit. Questions on the motion?
If we're using that amount as the Band-Aid, will losing 4 months on it actually do that effect? Have the same effect as doing it?
The payout would just be extended.
Right.
Do we need to stipulate in the motion how the steps for how we're going to inform the public? Since we're specifically deferring it in order to.
So it's
Yeah.
February.
We can hold a town hall, we could just
Town hall and then.
do a letter, we could do a mailing.
Can we attach a note onto the water?
No,
You know,
yes.
it's a postcard.
Oh, you can't.
No, I mean, in the postcard, like, is there like a comment section or a?
No, there's not enough
It's
space to
full
really.
with rates.
No,
Yeah, it's full of
No.
words.
Or we could do a letter mailing.
we could do a mailing.
Yeah.
We could do a mailing.
So
I
mailing
I
the
would
town
I would
hall.
request that we do. I mean,
Okay.
over communication would be best.
Sure.
Get it out soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mailing followed by a town hall.
let's start with the milling.
See what-
Town
Let's
halls
see what the
are, town halls
response
are very poorly attended. Let's get the word out on mailings and maybe the town hall will be attended. Okay. Question on the motion. Roll, please.
Trustee Ballinger.
Yes.
Trustee Bankowski.
Yes.
Trustee Pasiak.
Yes.
Trustee Pacoli.
Yes.
Trustee Myerson.
Yes.
President Dilbert.
Yes. We have to set a public hearing to establish our 2020-21 millage rate. And it's typically prior to the next council meeting. So is that good? Say at 6 or 6:30 on March?
Do you need a motion for that, or?
No,
Yes.
Make a motion that we set the public hearing for the millage and budget for 6:30 PM on March 10th.
Support.
Been properly moved and supported that we set a public hearing for March 10th at 6:30 PM to establish our millage rate. Any questions on the motion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Introduction of fire department chaplains. Chief?
We haven't had a chaplain for quite a few years because the ones that used to be on the department had moved out and so on and so on. The local churches have always been very supportive about helping us in anything we need, but having an in-house chaplain and somebody that's trained in counseling, some of the things that we do bother people. So I'm really glad that John, Tia, would you say anything? This is John Tia Nagy. They run the Haven Place downtown where the old bank used to be for the last 5 years or more, right? They've made a real difference in the community. I don't know how many of you had the pleasure of meeting them, but they're super people. They come with a lot of experience in treating people for PTSD and stuff like that. And we're really glad to have them. Like I said, it's nice that they stepped up. Just a little note. First responders, police, fire, and EMS, suicide rates have went out way up in the last 2 years. Now, luckily, we haven't had any around, well, we had one in Chesterfield, but we haven't had any around here other than that. And we're hoping to head that off. You know, we all have things that bother us, but some of the things that we see, we don't discuss with you, and they bother us. Now, this gives us another avenue. There are other programs that the village has provided, but this gives us another avenue, an in-house, and besides that, we like them. So we just really appreciate it. And would you like to say anything at all?
We're just honored that you would have us be the chaplains.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, John, Tina.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. For those of you who may not be aware, the village of New Haven a few years back sponsored this sorority. They've been quite active in the community. I think we got an event coming up at the library in the next few weeks. So there's a lot of things that they do participate locally, even the river cleanup. And they were asked to be here tonight. No, they asked me if they could come tonight. I'm not sure when they're coming. Ladies.
Greetings on behalf of the Nigga Zion Omega chapter of New Haven, Michigan. We are members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We just celebrated 112 years of existence. We are the first Black sorority to become a national Greek organization. And we wanted to just say thank you in commemoration of New Haven's 150th year, last year's celebration. As Mr. President Gilbert just said, the Village of New Haven was instrumental in helping us establish the chapter of our sorority in this particular village. Pastor Mack, the late Pastor Mack's church, Greater New Hope, wrote a very impressive letter that gave us leverage to serve Macomb County. And as President Gilbert also states, we do most of our community service here. We adopted a highway just down the street here. We clean up every 3 months of the year. We also put on programs at the New Haven Lenox Library. We do the Macomb Clinton Library. We service the Macomb community. And it is our pleasure to present to the Village of New Haven this plaque in commemoration of your 150th existence. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I am here with our Vice President, Dr. Carla Postel, our immediate past President, Pamela Tinsley, and our Assistant Recording Secretary and past parliamentarian, Pauline George.
And of course, I know Pam quite well. We attend the same church. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't forget my head.
Okay, I'm counting 3. 1, 2, 3.
Get in there.
Thank you.
Well, don't thank me, you won't see how it turns out.
Don't forget my head, Chief.
See, down,
Mama must know.
Yeah, I'm a little technically challenged, but I think I can handle this. And one more. I think I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Resolution 20-001 pertaining to a maintenance agreement with the Macomb County Road Commission. Easement agreement. I assume everyone has read the copy.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 20-001, a blanket permit for general road maintenance, Macomb County Department of Roads.
Support.
Properly moved and supported that we adopt resolution number 20-001 pertaining to the road maintenance agreement with Macomb County Department of Roads. Any questions on the motion? Roll, please.
Trustee Pasiak?
Yes.
Trustee Pacoli?
Yes.
Trustee Myson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballinger?
Yes.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
President Gilbert?
Yes. Item F, CDBG funding. Our first line, we informed you last month, 2 months ago, that we had applied for a $250,000 grant to replace some existing sidewalk. We were happy to be informed just recently that our application was accepted, was well accepted. We are tentatively one of 4 communities in Macomb County that will receive this grant. The final straw is it goes before the Macomb County Board of Commissioners March 26th for final approval. And as long as they give their yay, we will get a grant of $250,000. We beat out a number of other communities. We even got a phone call from the director praising us on our application and the thoroughness, and it was a good conversation. So with that being said, we would like to, we're 99.9% sure that the Board of Commissioners is going to give final approval. So what we want to do is get the engineering started on the project so we can be ready when they give final approval, get the bids out. Because this project has to be completed by October 1. So we gotta be ahead of the game. So with that being said, Samet, our engineer, is seeking approval to start the drawings and the other necessary parts of this project. Samet?
Yeah, basically putting the package together for advertisement and receiving bids by the deadlines of the county. And we have a short window. We didn't want to wait till next month, otherwise we're going to have less than 3 weeks to put all that together. That's why we're on the agenda tonight.
Questions?
I move to authorize the engineer to proceed with plans and specs for the CDBG 2020 sidewalk replacement program grant.
I'm sorry, did I hear? Been properly moved and supported that we authorize the engineer to proceed with creating the plans for the sidewalk replacement program. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll have those drawings pronto. Item G, Perry Acres.
Good evening. My name is Pete Potterton. I'm with the PK Companies, and we own Perry Acres and Bramblewood Apartments in town here. And as you may or may not know, Perry Acres we redeveloped almost 20 years ago now, and we just went through and did a complete rehab on it. And what we need to do now is the same thing. Everything's about 20 years old. We need a roof, we need siding, we need windows, and we'd like to redo the interiors. We typically replace full kitchens, new cabinets, new flooring, new appliances, new HVAC, and we do the same in the baths as well. So essentially we'll have a brand new apartment building when we're done with it, and it should be a good asset for the community for the next 20 or 30 years as well. We do siding and roofing as well, if I didn't mention that. Additionally, we own Bramblewood Apartments, which is a senior development right around the corner from there, and we're requested to do the same thing there. Perry Acres did have a pilot in place since before we purchased it back almost 20 years ago. Bramblewood does not have a pilot in place. I say these meetings all the time, but a pilot is a payment in lieu of taxes. So I presume you guys have done your homework, you know what I'm talking about here, and that's what I'd like to request for Bramblewood as well. That is, we built that new almost 20 years ago as well, and it is showing age and wear and tear, and we'd like to do a complete rehabilitation on that as well. We're working with, these are both funded by USDA Rural Development. It's a 515 loan. We also had a loan from MISTA on the Bramblewood Apartments, a home loan. That we intend to pay off and take MISTA out of the equation. But MISTA will, as far as the home loan goes, they'll still be part of the deal with the low-income housing tax credit that we are competing for. And that's why I'm here tonight, is to request a pilot ordinance on both of these developments. We have to have a specific ordinance for each development to make us competitive in our quest for low-income housing tax credits with MISTA. MISTA doles out these credits. The next round is April 1st, that we have to have our application in by. On an annual basis, MISTA gets about $33 million in tax credit availability, and they have over $100 million in application for that. So it's a very, very competitive process. We've been successful in Michigan over 25 or 30 times in getting these awards. We've done some pre-pointing on our two applications here, in both Perry Acres and Bramblewood. Seem like they point very, very well. if we get the extra 5 points that the pilot program has. So that's what I'm here for tonight, is to ask, to see if you would consider a request for that. The pilot, I think, for Perry Acres, the bill we just sent out, it was about $19,000. And that is typically figured by the amount of income we collect on an annual basis, minus the common utilities we pay for residents on that building. So that worked out to be, and then we had a 10% pilot charge to the community. So we take the numbers, we have about, our budget here, the request we sent in.
We received this payment in lieu of taxes from the 3 developments, Pinewood, Perry Acres, and Bramblewood. And so this pilot is standard.
Yes. I mean, this is typical for a MISTA low-income housing tax credit development, because I think it just shows cooperation. We have a federal loan with USDA, and we have state MISTA involved with the tax credits, and we have a local community. And it benefits the community because we increase the value of the asset, we bring jobs, we're doing a rehab on Perry Acres, it's going to be in excess of $1 million. And if we do the rehab on Bramblewood as well, it'll be in excess of $1.5 million. So we're bringing a lot of dollars into the community. We try to work with local subs and contractors. We've got all our subs and contractors here staying in town, using restaurants and whatnot. So it is a good benefit to the local community, as well as, they'll have a good asset that everybody can be proud of for the next 20 or 30 years, as we say. We manage these assets as well. I started off in business as a property manager, and we saw doing this type of development as a way to increase our portfolio of PK companies. And currently we manage over 4,000 units, mostly in the Midwest, a little bit in Texas, and a little bit in California. We have probably 40 properties or more in Michigan. We have every little town you can think of, we've probably got a little property there, some I've never even heard of before.
We had reached out to, I think Sean's working on a,
Sean's here. Hi, Sean. Here. I am here. Hi.
I think I spoke with Sean on the phone.
Okay.
So I'm here to answer any questions and see what
Questions?
how we can convince you that this is a good thing.
Just out of curiosity, how many residents do you have between the two?
We have 24 units at Perry Acres. There's probably 60 residents there, and there's 32 units at the elderly property at Bramblewood. There's probably 35, 40 residents there.
And so you're seeking for a pilot just for Perry Acres or
Bramblewood as well.
Bramblewood as well?
Yeah.
Sean?
So they require to pass 2 ordinances, correct?
Correct.
And so each one has to be specifically tailored to that facility with all the information, the mortgagee stuff, everything in there. And I mean, I can have those done by the next meeting, and then you'd have to obviously vote on it. But once that's good, the rest of this stuff is up to you guys, just to pass it on through to MISTA and have everything at the Fed level good, and then.
Yeah. Well, we need the ordinance in hand for our application.
Yeah.
And of course, the ordinance can be contingent upon us receiving the funding to do this. And if we don't do this, the ordinance will stay in the same tax formats that we have now. But like I say, we think we could be successful. We pre-pointed these out, and it looks like from the past performance on the latest allocation program for the tax credits that we should be in the money on these things. But we would need that by April 1st for our application.
So it's earliest, our March meeting is March 10th.
I'll have them by then.
So would that give you, if we authorize the writing of the ordinance, and then we adopt it on March 10th. Would that give you sufficient time to?
Yes, yes, it would.
Okay, okay.
And I have sample ordinance that Mishta likes to see, and I could give those to you, Sean.
Awesome, thank you.
All righty, what's your pleasure? You've heard the request.
Make a motion that we authorize our attorney / Sean to write the ordinance for Bramblewood and for Prairie Acres. Two separate ordinances.
Support.
We probably moved and supported that we authorize the attorneys to draft 2 ordinances, one for Prairie Acres and one for Bramblewood, pertaining to the pilot program. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We will.
Thank you very much.
Those will be ready for adoption at the March 10th meeting.
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Do you have a business card with you, just for your name and such?
I do.
Thank you.
Lori, a couple items back, we set the millage, the public hearing for the millage. Did we do everything that you needed?
Yeah, you're going to talk about the budget
Yes.
and the millage, the proposed millages support that budget.
Yes.
But we won't set the millages until April.
Right. I guess I was surprised to see you here. I thought you may have needed something else.
You're not supposed to see me.
Okay then. Payment of bills.
Make a motion that we approve the payment of bills in the amount of $154,458.57.
Okay. Second.
We properly moved and supported that we pay the bills in the amount of $154,458.57. Question on the motion. Roll, please.
Trustee Pacoli?
Yes.
Trustee Myson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballinger?
Yes.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hayesiak?
Yes.
President Dilbert?
Yes. Treasurer Rudd.
Total village cash assets of $4,584,902.11.
I move that we accept the treasurer's report, receive and file the treasurer's report.
Support.
Properly moved and supported that we receive and file the treasurer's report. Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The clerk is requesting that all, no, that's a bad date.
That is a bad.
Probably March 1st for the March
And
10th.
probably March 1st for you. Unfinished business. We had gone out and got 3 bids on the LED lighting, but I really don't want to address this tonight with some other, with the other pending issues on this building. But we did get 3 bids. So let's just table that until we, yeah. And the same thing with item B, the Corporate Construction to repair the soffits and whatnot. We need to set a date for a budget workshop. Knowing that the budget has to be adopted by March 31st.
And we're having a public hearing on the 10th, so we probably need it before then, right?
It would probably, yeah, it would probably be best. Yeah. Yeah.
So, in the next couple of weeks.
Wednesday the 26th, 6:30 p.m.
I am in Vegas.
Can we have it?
Yeah. I make a motion that we have the budget. Las Vegas.
That's held in Vegas.
You know what, flights are 153 today, so round trip.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the Remax convention, it's not really that fun.
The week before,
The 19th
are you
or 18th?
going to be available?
he's in Florida the week I'm in Vegas anyway,
Yeah.
even though he suggested that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 19th would be
19th
fine.
would be better.
I'm all right with the
19th of,
February,
So next-
that's next Wednesday.
yes, I'm here. The first week in March, I'm gone.
So we want to do it on Wednesday? Is anybody opposed to the Tuesday, then 18?
Those Parks and Rec if we have it.
Oh, okay, then no, I'll make a application for it.
So Wednesday the 19th,
What time?
what's a good time for everyone?
6:30.
6?
I can do 6, I can do 6:36.
I can do any time, so 6 is fine for me.
I can get on.
How many sixes I got? 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on the 19th, the budget workshop. Sandy, you're available?
Oh.
19th?
Um,
Anyways.
You are now.
You are now? Alrighty. Do we need a motion for that? We probably should.
I make a motion that we set the budget workshop for February 19th at 6 o'clock.
Support.
We probably moved and supported that we hold a budget workshop on February 19th at 6 p.m. Questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Planning Commission update.
Sorry, I was putting the date in my calendar. So the planning commission met a week ago this evening. We're still working on the master plan. We are putting together a schedule because we have to have some meetings with the public, we need some public input. I brought forward the request for the Clark Street property, and there are 2 questions posed for me to bring back. One of them was how many lots are developable in the community, like single-family homes. I did receive that information. But the main question was, what exactly does council want from planning?
And that's why that question should have never been sent to planning. It's not a planning question. So with that being said, that's a question we will address at a later date.
We'll just leave it at that.
I think this board agrees with me that the use of that property is not a planning issue until we decide what to do with it. Then it becomes a planning issue.
I don't disagree with that,
Okay.
but I've just followed the direction I was
Yeah,
given.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
state that. That's all I got.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, I was gonna take it off the agenda. We didn't meet, we didn't have our quorum. There was 3 of us there, so we exited the building. But we are, like I said, we are working on better communication for the village, better communication for the residents, trying to get the word out there. There's actually something that, I wish the clerk was here, I requested it from the agenda, that's not there. I saw it when it came out, but I wasn't actually totally ready to present it, so, but it's kind of ties into Parks and Rec and ties into us too. So hopefully next agenda we'll have a Parks and Rec meeting and something good will come from it. So we'll just go from there.
Fire Department Committee, we didn't know if that was, in the future, that would not be an automatic add-on, unless you guys requested the put on the agenda.
We're meeting every month at this point,
Yeah.
so we might as well leave it, but we didn't really get any traction
Yeah, so.
last month. I feel like in terms of an update, we're meeting again tomorrow night. We are supposed to have I don't know how you'd call it, a proposed budget or plan of action on how they're going to be handling their finances. That's where we stand, which is with not much of an update. Gino, you were there, so.
The road committee, a brief update. I've been given verbal confirmation that the intersection of Main and Gratiot will receive a left turn light on north and southbound Gratiot. A work order has been submitted to the Macomb County Road Commission, and I was told that the work should be completed within 4 to 6 weeks. The Clark Street Gratiot intersection, we've had some discussion with the county. The county said it's not their issue. We had some discussion with MDOT. MDOT said it's not their issue. The fact of the matter is, the issue is the county's issue because it's the east side of 27 Mile that creates the problem. Gratiot does not create the problem, which is the MDOT road. The west side, which is Clark Street, which is the village street, does not create the problem. It's the east side. So I asked Sumed, our engineer, to put together some rough numbers, and I think I gave you guys a sheet, just ballpark, nothing ironclad. What does he think it would take to correct this problem at 27 in Gratiot with the extension of the eastbound lane, some curb and gutter work on the southeast and the northwest corners? And I think these numbers are probably quite conservative because there may be some utilities that may need to be moved, but this gives us something to continue to have a conversation, and I will continue the conversation with the county since I know for a fact it's their issue. It's their road. Now, MDOT, based on Mr. Piccoli's conversation with his contact, had some pedestrian improvements that they were going to look at in 2021 or 2?
They were going to start the discussion with it in 2022, but they had no plans on funding or anything of that sort. It was just that they received a lot of complaints from residents, so they were putting that in as something to look at.
Yeah. But they said that if we decided to do something with that intersection, that they would move up their plans to coincide with the improvements of the intersection. So that's where we're at. Left turn lane at Gratiot and Main in the next few weeks, and we'll continue the discussion at Clark and Gratiot. Call from the floor. Call from the table. Motion in order.
Before we do motion, it's a little in advance, but Easter egg hunt, did you want to tell everybody about the date? April 4th.
Thank you.
I saw the box of
We
eggs.
discussed it last time.
I know the eggs are here.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, but.
I just think there's a whole bunch of eggs in the hallway.
There's a bunch of eggs in the
That's all I need.
Maybe we could get an update, not this evening, from Mr. Addis, but about some decisions we made in closed session a couple months back, where we're at and where we're going.
That's really a good idea. And we have an update. We probably shouldn't discuss it tonight, but within a week or so, I think everything will become clear.
Okay. That's good.
Good question.
Just some ideas.
No, good question. We're right on the same time.
Call from the table. Motion in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
At 7:40.